All right guys, I'm back here in my backyard skinny singles court here, trying out some paddles. So this year, this summer, this past few months, has just been a whirlwind of paddle releases, right? And I don't see how any consumer could keep up. Heck, I do this as a hobby and I can barely keep up with all the releases. So I decided to take a bunch of my paddles out here of the past few months, paddles all that consumers will be thinking about buying, try to put them in a little bit of categories here, and let's see if we can make some sense out of this. I've got the Titan fired up. We'll hit a few shots out of each of them. I'll give you a few quick thoughts, and this is also helping me try to figure out what paddles I want to play. All right, so stay tuned. All right, first up for you guys, we're gonna start with the ones at considered to be at the highest power levels. This is the Boomstick, right? Everybody knows this one. Full foam paddle from Selkirk. The only downside is these edge guards come a little loose. I've got a replacement supposedly on the way. We'll see. But let's hit some and let you know what I think. These ones are known for being some of the most powerful and poppy paddle on the market. Ooh. Dealing with some wind today. But you'll notice you don't have to hit with much power. It has some nice ball shaping characteristics. Woo! Tried to ramp that one up. That's long. So, powerful, poppy. My edge guard's just coming loose. Obviously, for $333, you expect a little bit more out of your paddle, but it plays great. I do great offensively with this paddle. Defensively is where I struggle, controlling those pops, kitchen shots, resets. That's when I struggle with a little bit. Now we're gonna try the Flik F1 Terracore from Body Helix. I find this one, for me, a little bit easier to control. Still plenty of pop and power. I find this one to be less poppy than the Boomstick, and I know a lot of people feel the opposite, but I just feel like I get more touch with this one, and for me, it's the better buy. Next up is the Black Opal. This is an upcoming release from 6-0. A lot of years in development, ton of innovations on here. I'll have probably a better video on this coming up around the time of release. John Q's got a great video out right now. This thing is powerful. This thing's got a great face, gritty little diamonds in the surface and everything, but it hits like a Thang. So let's see if I can control it. Ooh. So the answer is no, I can't control this. Gotcha. It comes off hard. I think I might have weighted it up a little too much. I only put 3 grams on each side, but it's pretty stable stock, to be honest with you. I just kind of wanted to see what weight would do, but it hits hard. You really got to control your power, your swings. So we'll see. I'm going to give this some more time, but right now it's not coming out tournament time yet. All right, so next up is the Gearbox GX2 Power. I really like this one. This has been one of my mains in my bag. I feel like it has plenty of power, a little bit more controllable. I don't mind that foam feel. Matter of fact, I think I kind of like it, but let's see what you see about this one. Downside of this one, of course, is its price. It's fairly expensive, $280. But For me, the ball just really does feel nice off the paddle. I feel like I can control it better, but it still has plenty of power and pop. Ooh, got a hold of that one. I like it, it's good. It is pricey, it is expensive, and it's one of those paddles you really have to play a lot to get used to it, because it does play a little different than some of the others. All right, and right now, I think my current favorite of the bunch, probably because it may be the least on the power spectrum of these, is a bread and butter Loco. Okay, this one is now getting in the hands of consumers. It's fantastic, also full foam paddle, floating cores, sheet of fiberglass. I think 171 after code, but let's see what you think about this one. It's got power, it's got pop. I think it deserves to be in this top category, but probably is the last one in there. Ooh. That one's a little long. All right. Yeah, this one, it's just, and I've been playing this one more lately, but this one just feels the best into my hand. It's a little bit more of a paddle I don't have to think about quite as much as the other ones in this category. So out of all these in the category, I do like a Loco best. I like the GX2 Power next, then the Flik. And then in terms of the Boomstick and the Opal right now for me, probably Boomstick then Opal. I just haven't dialed that Opal in. But to be fair, I've not had it that long. I've only hit it for 2 games or 2 nights of games yet. So, all right. So now we're gonna move on to a next grouping of paddles that are considered in the power range, but maybe just a step down. And you're gonna see a lot of foam options in here as well. Vatic Pro just released 2 full foam paddles. The blue one is the VSol Pro, and then the red one is the VSol Power. VSol Pro, also EPP wrapped around with a ring of EVA foam. No fiberglass in this one. This one's a little bit stiffer. Sounds great. Definitely has power, but you can see I can kind of shape and keep my balls in the court. Oh, of course I knock them out right when I say that. Man, that one flew too. This one is in the flash shape. All right, so that was the VSol Pro, the one that's a little bit stiffer. It's also, this is the flash, long-handled flash version. Next up, I have the VSol Power. This is the long-handled V7. Okay, this one I find to be a little bit more powerful from the baseline, but a little bit of a softer touch. So I think a little more pop with the blue, a little more power with the red, softer touch, a little stiffer. Let's see how this looks. Oh, there's a ball stuck in there. Let's see what happens. The sound is different. Ooh. So I think the ball, there it goes. All right. Yeah, for me, you know, they have the argument in the Discord, red pill, blue pill. Ooh, I like the red one better. It's a little bit like the FC Plus versus NF, and we'll get to those paddles in a second. But in this one, I like the red a little bit better. But still, plenty of power, plenty of pop, has a really nice feel. This one's a little bit softer. All right, now next up, we'll go to the Honolulu Pickleball Twins here. We're gonna start with the J2NF, and then I'm gonna roll into the JCFC or J2 FC Plus. The NF, notched foam, layer fiberglass, FC Plus, ring of EVA, sheet of EPP, no fiberglass. Nice crack, good spin, nice power. There's just nothing wrong with this paddle. Ooh. All right, now let's switch over to the FC Plus from Honolulu Pickleball. First thing you'll notice, the sound just a little bit louder, but still good shape on the ball, good enough power. It does feel a little bit softer than the NF. I'd always preferred the NF. Lately, I've been liking the FC Plus better, probably because I just want to keep my balls in the court more. I think that was the first one where I kept all the balls in. Maybe that's how I should choose my paddle, right? But that was the J2 FC Plus. It does feel a little bit softer than the NF. It's really a feel game there. They both hit with power. They both hit nice with pop, but this one is just a little bit softer. All right, I came back and got my Quanta. This should have been up with the Vatic Pro and Honolulu Pickleball paddles. This is the Quanta R3. This is their elongated with the square top. I have this weighted up like a boomstick. So I have 7.5 grams on 3 and 9 on this one. Full foam paddle, surrounded EVA, no fiberglass. This also is one of my favorite of the foam paddles. Got some power behind it, but it's spinning the ball. Oop, hit the tip on that one, huh? There's a little bit lower of that thud. Overall, has a nice feel. You do have to take a little bit of your swing off. It's more the powerful paddles. It's probably right there with the Loco as well once it's up, weighted up like where it is now. All right, so that's the Ronbus Quanta R3. Next, the last one I have in this grouping is the TruFoam Waves. This is the number 4 shaper, they're hybrid. This one's very polarizing online with several reviewers talking about how small the sweet spot was. I'll be honest, I didn't notice any different. Maybe I'm just too trashed to notice these things. But I found that this paddle hits just as well as any of the others. It does have more power than the TruFoam Genesis, and that's why I think it belongs up in this category. I did not see a diminishment of the sweet spot. I did put a healthy amount of weight on here. This is 1/2 gram per inch, and this is probably, I'm gonna guess 8 inches on each side, maybe 10. But let's see how it plays. It still has that foam feel. This has been cut, that's why they call it the Waves, that has these wavy slices in the foam. But yep. Fiberglass on this one is a full sheet. It feels softer to me though than the NF, maybe a little bit more than the FC Plus. Everybody loves the spin on this paddle. I don't know if it pops out, but I do think I'm getting a little bit better spin. Ooh, a little late on that one. Than I am on the others. I don't know. I find it's a great paddle. I really do. I like it. What I don't like is the $280. And I definitely think I can find you just as good, if not better, for a little bit less price. But if you made this paddle $100, $150 bottle, or $150, I don't know. I would recommend it.
Editor here. I forgot to recap these paddles. So I would put the Quanta in between the two Honolulu pickleball paddles. And then I would put the Power slightly over the Pro and then the Waves last. Although this really is a type grouping.
Next up, I'm gonna go to a couple of paddles here that fall into that Gen 3.5 category, where they're strips of foam with carbon fiber ribs. I got the E6 Surtr. It's got a little cult following. And then the Ripple V2, the approved one, which does not have a cult following. All right, let's hit the Ripple first and then the Surtr. All right, so I've done a video or two on this Ripple before. It hits, it feels nice, it's just all my balls do that. I just don't seem to be able to dial it in. All right, now we're gonna switch over to the Surtr. And I will say, for me, I preferred the Surtr over the Ripple when I've hit them side by side before. A little bit higher pitched sound. It's nice, it's good. It feels like a hammer. It's just kind of that thud. Similar to the Ripple, but this one, it feels a little denser to me. But it's got a nice feel. It's got a nice shape, nice power. Nothing wrong with this paddle. All right, these next two are also full foam paddles. These are considered more all court, maybe upper end of all court. This first one is the Flik Falcon. This is the one that has cork. 5 little cork circles in here. A little bit heavy, head heavy, not overall heavy, but a little bit head heavy on terms of the swing weight. Nice touch, 13 millimeters, which also tells me that cork must be heavy because it does. But let's see how it hits. Springy. The thing about this, oh, that was a bad swing. For 13 millimeter, it is plush, and that's where I think that cork comes in. All right, so that was the Falcon. The next one is the Ronbus Refoam. You might have missed this one. This one just popped out just right before the Quantas came out. This is the Refoam R114. This is the MPP foam. Instead of EPP, MPP, different. It's a supercritical foam. I know, nerdy details and all that kind of stuff. Search Pickleball, etc. Justin, he can tell you all about that. But this is the Ronbus Refoam. All foam paddle, considered all court. So, stiffer, sounds different, higher pitched. You can tell this is a different foam in here. A little different construction too. He's got these little strips in there to add perimeter weighting. It just feels different. It's not bad, you can dial it in. You can see the first two shots of mine were definitely different than these others, but now I've kind of got it dialed in. And like most of these paddles, you adjust to the differences it has and find out which one's more compatible with you than the others. It's not bad. It does hit different, it plays different. feels a little heavier, a little denser, but that's the Ronbus Refoam. This is the R1 shape.
In case it wasn't clear, I liked the Surtr over the Ripple, and I liked the Falcon over the Refoam.
All right, so now we're gonna step away from foam. Every paddle I've hit so far is foam, either in a full sheet or in strips. Now we're going back to Gen 3. This is one of the more recent releases, the Chorus Phoenix, 10mm cells, 14mm core. This one is poppy. It's nice. It's nice for whenever you want to do some damage up at the kitchen, be quick, but it's still got some fire. It behaves very similar to that you would compare a 14mm Gen 3 paddle to behave as. Hear that sound? It's weird. It's like the difference between this and foam, you can almost hear the air compressing the cells. You can, but it sounds like it's different. I remember one reviewer said this one didn't have much spin, but I gotta tell you, it spins as much as anything else does. There's nothing wrong with this paddle. This is a great little Gen 3 paddle here, the Chorus Phoenix. All right, this is one that was released, I think today, if I have this right. This is Sunday, October 12th. Yeah, I think this one just releases today. This is the Ruby Pro from 6.0. It has the grittiest surface I've ever felt on any paddle. It feels like sandpaper. I mean, it literally feels like sandpaper. It's got that diamond tough surface because there's little diamonds baked into there. But this is a nice little paddle as well. Let's see how it hits. It's in hybrid shape, like the Ruby, regular Ruby before it. A little deeper, denser than that Phoenix that I just hit. A little less powerful, I think, although certainly you can get it, but that ball dips. Just got to keep it in. Feels great. I do notice it's a little bit more sluggish when I'm up at the kitchen, but other than that, I really like this paddle too. One of the surprise paddles I picked up recently is this Luzz Cannon. This is Gen 3, basically a Joola Pro IV knockoff. It's got the little Tech Flex foam down here with that diving board foam, or maybe it comes all the way around. I don't remember, but $92 after code for a really paddle that performs well. Yeah, this one was a surprising one. I really like this paddle. For weight, I put 3 gram strips at 4 1/8. I put like a 12 gram cap coin on the end. But honestly, I played it stock first, and it was great. But it just feels good. You can just pick it up, play it. It's almost like you don't have to dial it in. You just know this paddle is gonna play like you want it to. The shape is good. Yeah, there's just nothing wrong with this paddle. I'm telling you, 92 bucks. If you like Gen 3 and you don't mind that this paddle's probably gonna break in a few months, this is the one to get. All right. Now this one has been out for a while. This is my baby, this is my reset. This is my paddle. When I want to dial myself back in, grab this paddle. This is the 11624 Huarache X Alpha Pro Power. And this has been my fave for a while now. One of the, maybe the only paddle I've ever actually bought myself a backup of. You know, I have dozens of paddles that I can pick from, all really good paddles. But This is the one I go back to. And the thing is, I didn't buy a backup necessarily because it breaks, because, I mean, any Gen 3 can break, but, and not that this one's as gritty as hell's anyway, ooh, but I wanted, we got some tournaments coming up and I wanted maximum grit. I just love this one in the Hirachi shape. A lot of people like the vapor shape, but I actually find my kitchen plays better with a Hirachi shape than with a smaller one, with the hybrid or vapor or not. Okay, so now this one is the newly released Joola Dual 3S in the 16, the Hyperion shape. Right, so for whatever reason, Joola brought back the 3S, dual certified this time. If you remember, the original one was only UPAA. I imagine they just toned down the grit and it does feel pretty smooth. Not sure why they released this paddle. Not sure why I got this paddle. I actually do know. Got it from my friend Nick. We traded paddles and he said, I got this. And I said, oh yeah, send that over. So this will be shot number 1. And it's in. Yeah, still hits great. Ooh, that one flew. Now, other than Joola sponsors a lot of pros, but you'll see a lot of pros still swinging this paddle, even if they have access to the 4, just because they like it. Maybe that's why they came out with it, but now they added a, you know, it's kind of cool color gradient. Oof. But still hits like a Joola. This one hits a little firmer, a little thicker than the last two. It's a little denser, I think. But it still plays like its predecessors. Nice, solid Gen 3 paddle. It's good. All right, so for grins and giggles, I thought if we pulled out the 3S, might as well pull out the Pro 4 and remind myself what that felt like. Although all I had on me was the Scorpius, so let's hit this one. This is 16 millimeter. All right, so yeah, it's like I remember it. It's like a Gen 3. It's nice. I don't know that it hits any better or worse than the Dual 3S. Probably if you spent some more time really comparing the two, you draw them out, but just on a few shots, they do hit very similarly. So then now we went from $280 to $99. So this is the Friday Fever. This is their second iteration of the Friday Fever. This also has 10 millimeter cells. This is a Labs paddle, the 102WB, okay? So this is their wide body version of their Friday Fever, but Gen 3, 10 millimeter cells. Let's see how it hits. And this is pretty much, I think, stock. Ooh, missed hit that one, but I got a nice shot. So this one, you can tell right away that it's not a Joola. Does not feel as dense at all. Feels a little bit, you know, hollower, less dense. You know, I don't want to say flimsier because that sounds bad, but it's not as much to it. And you can definitely tell, all right, I think my storage got full on me there. But anyway, this hits nice. It's definitely not a Joola. It's not as thick, dense feeling, a little bit more hollow, a little bit lighter feeling. But it's nice though. I gotta say, for $99 paddle. It's gonna go hard to beat this one as far as Gen 3 construction, wide body, cells. It really hits nice. I'm a fan.
Editor recap. To rank my Gen 3 paddles, I would put the 11624 Apple Pro Power at top, followed closely by the Luzz Cannon, and then the Chorus Phoenix. Next up would be the 60 Ruby Pro, then the two Joolas, and lastly the Friday Fever, which I still like, but is probably last of this bunch.
All right, so these next three paddles, we kind of dip down from Gen 3 Power into Gen 3 All Court, although I think that distinction, especially with like the Friday paddle, is very minimal. This is the Mark 1X R2, basically their hybrid version of the O2 R2. And let's give this a try. I really like this. This one came out earlier, but I just got a hold of it probably a month or so ago. Certainly sounds different than the last two. Spins the ball nice. It does have that more Gen 2 feel. Just where it has some pop, but it just, I don't know, it feels different on the hand. And we're gonna compare that to a real favorite of mine in this category, and that's the Pickleball Apes Harmony X. So this is honeycomb polypropylene, but big, wide foam pieces at each corner. So you kind of have very unique construction, but it feels really nice, plush, has some power if you really want to, but falls into that Gen 2 category. Feel, even though its construction is kind of its own thing. Ooh, got a hold of that one. Feels good. Ball does not come flying off this paddle. You have to do a little bit more of the work, kind of as you would expect, but in a linear fashion. Now I have the bread and butter Wild Thing. Basically, this is Shogun, add fiberglass. A few little tweaks here and there, but that's basically what you're going with. This is 16 millimeter thermoformed with 3K carbon fiber surface, so it's not the titanium surface, but generation 2, very nice paddle. This paddle kind of got forgotten about pretty quickly because of the Loco, which is a bit of a shame because this is a solid paddle. Ooh. But you can get some dips with this one. Ooh, I got pushed back on that one. But Wild Thing, hits nice. It's got some pop. It's got some power if you dial it up in a linear fashion, which is good. I like it. Wild Thing.
Editor's note, to recap this section, I would probably rank these the Harmony, then the Wild Thing, then the Mark 1X R2, although all three of these are kind of in their own little niche.
Okay, so what did I learn today? Well, number one, I learned I probably should have started at this end and then worked my way down to this end instead of the other way around. I knew this was going to be kind of long, and so I didn't spend much time warming up. And I probably shouldn't have started my first shots with the Boomstick in terms of getting warmed up. But takeaways. I don't know that I really learned anything new from these paddles. It's just some similar muscle feel and memories. I'll go back and watch these shots on video to see which ones it look like I could hit cleaner and better. I will tell you just from quick memory here, my main, the Alpha Pro Power, and the Luzz Cannon were some of my prettiest shots. The Phoenix, you know, every time I hit it, I'm just impressed with it. I really do like that. The FC Plus, I really like that. And then the touch and feel, I go back to the Gearbox GX2. I just really love the feel of that paddle. The TruFoam, I really feel like it's got some bad rap. The reviews have been mixed on it. And then I do like the red Vatic Pro more than the blue Vatic Pro. The Loco, of course, is very solid. And I do like the Flik better than the Boomstick. So I guess those were my takeaways from today. I hope you liked it too. So I kind of shot this because I wanted to have a breakdown of all the most recent paddles that I've gotten. But I also have a series coming out of 3 videos on how to choose your own paddle. And it goes back to just the mindset of picking a paddle, to all the nerdy little descriptions we use and what those actually mean, and then to actually picking some paddles from each category. And I'm gonna have a ton of different categories there, you know, budget paddles, budget power paddles, foam paddles, Gen 3, Gen 2, paddles if you like to handle bangers, paddles if you like, you know, third shot drops and play the soft game. All that kind of stuff. I'm gonna try to break those down as best I can, just to give you some of my favorites. So I hope that you will check those out. And I hope you like this. If you did, please give me a subscribe, a like, follow, share, all the stuff. Peace.